Thank you for staying with us. It's Politics Today, your political program, right on your nation's news leader, Channels Television, the 10th time television station of the year, where we're talking about the Supreme Court judgments, the outcome, the verdicts, and of course the implication for Nigeria's electoral process. Well, what is the PDP saying? What is their reaction to this? Let me give you an insight to a portion of what the PDP said from the party's acting national chairman, Chief Uche Secondus. He says, and I quote, the Supreme Court in upholding justice has further reinvigorated the hope and trust of the citizenry in the judiciary as a bastion of democracy. Nigerians are no longer in doubt of the fact that in spite of the electoral challenges, the PDP remains the only pan-Nigerian party committed to the national interest with the capacity, vision, and direction to deliver and sustain a united and prosperous country. The reason we are working hard to regain power at the center in 2019. And of course, that's from the PDP acting national chairman, Chief Uche Secondus. And I have joining me an election observer and the coordinator of election monitor, Abiodun Ajijola, joins me to discuss this issue. Thank you so much, Mr. Ajijola. But tell me, you heard what the PDP has just said, that, well, this judgment means a lot to them, isn't it? They have Rivers State, Abia State, Akwa Ibom State, and still we're yet to hear from other states. But tell me, what do you make of these judgments, and in the light of what you monitored and your group in the past 2015 election?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Looking at the judgments, it's clear that there has been a significant issue in the reform of the electoral process using technology. And it is clear that when technology was brought in, there wasn't also adequate provision for amending the Electoral Act to be able to reflect the usage of technology. So I think what we are seeing in these judgments and what we are seeing at the moment is a weakness, and the weakness might be related directly to the fact that the Electoral Act was not amended to be able to take into consideration the digitization or the technology enhancement of the electoral process. So I think this is the critical issue that has probably led to the current situation. All right. And I think it will be difficult for any court of law to be able to take decisions without referring to how the Electoral Act is at its stance. So I think unless it is modified to reflect and take into consideration the usage of the card reader, permanent voter cards, I think that it might be difficult to go against judgments such as this. I mean, I give you a typical example with the usage of PVCs. You know, we had a couple of inconclusive elections, and you find out that the Electoral Act clearly states that if the difference between the winner and the first and the second place is less than the number of voters, registered voters who could not vote, then it's inconclusive in the Electoral Act. But if you check that on election day, only those who have PVCs are allowed to vote. So there are some registered voters that did not collect their PVCs. But the Electoral Act only reflects the number of registered voters, does not reflect the number of voters that have collected their PVC. So it gives you a much larger number of people who, in quotes, were unable to vote, which makes it much easier to arrive at an inconclusive situation. So the problem, again, as it has been also in the issue of inconclusive election, as it has been also in the use of smart card reader, is that the Electoral Act is not currently reflecting the technology that is being used to run elections. And that has to change, and I think the National Assembly is the right body to get that done. All
right. Tell me, because the national chairman of INEC said, and I guess you're at that forum where he was talking about the use of technology. He says that there won't be any more creation for now, but the INEC is going to improve and consolidate on the use of technology. But if we're seeing this reaction come from the courts about the use of technology, isn't there panacea for further problems in our electoral process. Do you think so?
Well, if I get your question right, I think it is a good step that INEC is making to inculcate technology and even use it in a deeper manner. I think what I heard on the news was the issue of using it in the area of even collation. So I think it's good, but I think as you are aware as I am that the next general elections is 2019. And I think, once again, it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to ensure that between now and 2019 general elections, that the Electoral Act is amended to a point where it reflects the use of technology and takes into consideration all these new dimensions to the electoral process. So I don't think technology is going to be negative. I think it has been very positive, and I think it's going to continue to be positive. And I think what is important is for, especially when it comes to the issue of cases, is for the Electoral Act to be amended to reflect these items. But in addition, I think maybe what can be done to improve the process in the area of like the card readers, there must be an improvement in the performance. So if you remember in the pilot test that was done pre-general election in about 12 states, you remember that the publication released by INEC was about 59% or so success rate. And of course, that gives you about 41% failure rate in the pre-test before the election.
If I may quickly
I don't know the figures for the election.
If I may quickly hop in so that I can quickly take your, I just quickly want to take your thoughts on these. If you look at the body language from the courts, especially the Apex Court, we do not know the details for now, but with the judgment that we have on the table and the arguments in the appeal court, it does look like the card readers has been flawed. And based on your own observation, do you think that what do you make of the card readers' performance in the election? Good or bad?
I think the card readers have been very positive. I also believe that the reason why we are having much better quality elections is primarily because of the card reader. Fine, the card reader has its challenges. We have seen that there are issues with fingerprints, and some people have challenges being able to get their fingerprints, recognized. We also have issues of sometimes card reader failure, and we have issues at times of card readers maybe deployed to the wrong polling units. I know during the general elections, we observed in some polling units that they said the data from the presidential election was still in the card reader in the governorship election. Right. But these are issues that can be addressed. Okay. So I think the key for INEC is just to ensure that it can improve the performance, effectiveness, and operations of the card reader, get superior quality card readers, maybe that can do greater functions.
Thank you so much.
I think that the card reader is a great device. We should not get rid of it. We should continue it.
We need to live with that. Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun Ajijala. Is the coordinator of Election Monitor, talking to us on the consequence of the Supreme Court judgment and, of course, the issue of the card reader and the implication for future elections. Well, thank you for being such a great company. Time never seems to be enough for some of these issues, but many thanks for being there. On behalf of the team here at Channels Television headquarters in Lagos, I'm Sean Wakimbale. Till next time, bye for now.